in a story about iPad. One of my colleagues, he was in Saudi Arabia. He was in the middle of a meeting, so he got an SMS that someone took from his credit card about $96 or something. So he went crazy. He rushed out. He called the bank. He stopped the credit card, and he called, how come this happened, and so on. And the evening he understood that it was his son just buying some Mario stuff and Angry Bird and so on. So as you may know, before 1 week almost from DGTLU, so people were calling to register and so on, but the seats were limited. And many of people amongst you here today, they said, we just want to attend a few sessions. Please let us have a pass just for Mr. Dani Richa panel. So we will be waiting Dani Richa to introduce.
Well, hello everybody. I think I'm probably standing between you and lunch, so I'll try to be brief. I'm happy to see so many faces here today. I often tell the stories. Once I came to a conference like this, but there was a very, very big storm, and you know, snow and everything, and I just made it to the conference. I walked into the room, and there was nobody there. So I said, oh, cool, I can go and you know, maybe have a glass of scotch and relax. And on my way out, somebody just walked in. So I felt, oh, maybe, you know, the guy went through the trouble of going through the storm to make it here. You know, I owe it to him. I'll make the presentation. So I connected my laptop and really gave him a full presentation, put all my heart in it. And then I said, great, I'm done. So I fold my computer, I'm about to leave, and the gentleman stands up and says, not so fast, I'm the next speaker. So I'd like to thank and congratulate the Iktissad and Al-Aamal for getting so many interesting people in this room. I looked at the list of attendees, and I think you know, there's a lot of interest in the topic. There's a lot of interest in the subject of digital, and you know, I'll try to make it as relevant to your businesses. There are a lot of bankers here, a lot of clients. I'll make it as much as possible to your businesses. And I have a feeling when I saw the suggested title of my presentation that you guys are going to go, oh, another presentation on digital. And for the last 10 years, that's the feeling I've had. More digital, more digital, more digital. So there's a feeling of deja vu. And there's a feeling that you guys have sat through tens of presentations like this. How the digital world changed our world, how the digital world and the internet and the mobile are going to change everything, and maybe our jobs will be redundant and all that. Well, I have news for you. Today, I am actually debating this change and questioning the fact that there is real change and where the real change actually is. So, you know, basically, if we ask ourselves the question, is it really tectonic change? Is it really revolutionized the way we work, the way we live? Should we do things differently? Should we restructure our companies? And honestly, in my opinion, no. And I'll try to convince you why. In the past, people had the need to collect music, whether it's vinyl, cassette tapes, CDs. The need of collecting music was there, of building your music library was there. People had the need to communicate, to write and have pen pals and correspond with loved ones. People had the need to share photos. They loved to share photos. They had albums, they sent them in envelopes. So sharing photos, nothing new about that. Even co-op, group buying, you know, there are co-ops all over the world. And the concept of group buying is nothing new, benefiting from volume and benefiting from communities. Short messaging like the telex and the telegraph, and the need to have like just concise short messages. Nothing new about it. So if you think about that, what has really changed? Nothing, just the vehicles. Now we collect the music on an iPhone or on a BlackBerry. We correspond with friends and loved ones on Facebook. We share our photos on Flickr. We benefit from group buying on Groupon. And we do the 140 characters on Twitter. So what has really changed? Nothing. The basic human needs remain the same. The only thing that has changed are the vehicles and the means that are there. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to that as a change. I don't care whether there's an iPad or a new Samsung tablet or this. They're nothing. They're just vehicles. You know, what the real change is somewhere else. The real change, and if we take a deeper look at understanding what the real change is, what are the opportunities and threats on our businesses, is the fact, and this is summed so nicely by Clay Shirky, today we are witnessing the largest increase in expressive capability in human history. Never ever before did people have such a loud voice. Never ever before did people have the ability to speak and get the attention of the world, be listened to. And this is the main fundamental change. It's the fact that people have a voice, it's a loud voice, it's a voice that's heard, and it's a voice that can change things. And we've seen it change governments, we've seen it have influence on a series of things. So I'd like to focus my presentation on that aspect of change. Now, I'll tell you a story that happened in Kuwait not long ago. A young chap, he's a blogger, goes and has a dinner at a Japanese restaurant. That night the service was not great and the food was not great. So he goes back home and he blogs about everything, blogs about the fact, names the restaurant, blogs about the fact that it wasn't a good experience. An hour later, he gets comments on his blog. Comments as if there were other customers who disagreed with him. When he read the kind of comments, they came across as too professional. They spoke about value and value for money. So he kind of suspected that they're coming from the owners of the restaurant themselves. He checked the IPs, and the two comments came from the same IP. So he went back on his blog and blogged about the fact that now you have this client disguising themselves as customers and as satisfied customers. 2 hours later, he gets sued by the restaurant owners. And 7 p.m. that night, it was on CNN. So people can no longer be ignored. If they're happy, people hear it. If they're dissatisfied, people hear it. Now, to entertain you a bit more, because that's what we do, that's the business I'm in, I have chosen to share with you, maybe some of you have seen it, a story of another dissatisfied customer. A guy, a musician, who flew in an internal flight in the US on United, and they mishandled his luggage. And while mishandling his luggage, they broke his guitar, and they broke his heart. And he complained and got nowhere complaining. So he was so sad, he decided to make a song about it. So he makes a song about it, posts the song on YouTube, and 14 million people saw it and agreed with it. Let me share that with you. Can we have sound, please?
Flew United Airlines on my way to Nebraska. The plane departed Halifax, connecting in Chicago's O'Hare. While on the ground, a passenger said from the seat behind me, "My God, they're throwing guitars out there." The band and I exchanged a look, best described as terror, at the action on the tarmac, and knowing whose projectiles these would be. So before I left Chicago, I alerted 3 employees who showed complete indifference towards me. United, United, admit it. I should have flown with someone else or gone by car. 'Cause United breaks guitars.
Yeah, I think you get the idea. I think you get the idea. You know, ignoring that call and not paying for that guitar costs United millions and millions of dollars in trying to amend the dent that he has created in their image. So today, people have the capabilities to be heard, and 15 million people actually heard this one. In the same category, the good news is it's not just that bad news travels fast, also good news travels fast. And the reason I'm saying that is a bit later in the presentation, I'm going to talk about how we, as marketeers, as business owners, we can use this to allow it to carry positive news. So in that same category, another airline who's known to do things a bit differently, a bit more casual, one of their crew members made an announcement that's fun. It was filmed by the people on the plane, and they posted it to their friends, and their friends shared it with their friends, and their friends of friends, and very quickly they got millions worth of free positive advertising. Have a look.
Good evening, folks. Welcome aboard Southwest Airlines Flight 372, service to Oklahoma City. Those of you that have flown us before know that we do things a little bit differently here on Southwest. Some of us tell jokes, some of us sing, some of us just stand there and look beautiful. I, unfortunately, can do none of those. So here's the one thing that I do know how to do. We're going to shake things up a little bit. I need a little audience participation. Otherwise, this is not going to go over well at all. So here's what I need, especially you guys in the front, because you know what's coming. All right, I need a beat. All right. All I need you to do is stomp and clap, and I'm going to do the rest because I've
Feel free
had 5
to join
flights
in
today, and I just cannot do the regular boring announcement again. Otherwise, I'm going to put myself to sleep. So, you guys with me? All right. So give me a stomp, clap, clap. Come on, stomp, clap, clap. Stay on beat there. There you go. Keep that going. This is Flight 372 on SWA. The flight attendants on board serving you today. Teresa in the middle, David in the back. My name is David, and I'm here to tell you that shortly after takeoff, first things first, there's soft drinks and coffee to quench your thirst. But if you want another kind of drink, then just holler. Alcoholic beverages will be $4. If a Monster Energy drink is your plan, that'll be $3, and you get the whole can. We won't take your cash, you gotta pay with plastic. If you have a coupon, then that's fantastic. We know you're ready to get to new places. Open up the bins, put away your suitcases. Carry on items, go under the seat in front of you, so none of you have things by your feet. If you have a seat on the road with the exit, we're going to talk to you, so you might as well expect it. You got to help evacuate in case we need you. If you don't want to, then we're going to reseat you. Before we leave, our advice is put away your electronic devices. Fasten your seatbelt, then put your trays up. Press the button to make the seat back raise up. Sit back, relax, have a good time. It's almost time to go, so I'm done with the rhyme. Thank you for the fact that I wasn't ignored. This is Southwest Airlines. Welcome aboard.
If I was to ask...
Thank you very much for my beat. I appreciate that. You will not get that on United Airlines, I guarantee.
Exactly. You will not get that on United Airlines. And if I was to ask which airline are you more likely to fly, well, you know, this is the real power that consumer have today. So how does this really translate to our business? In the past, and not long ago, we had brands, companies, banks, services, financial institutions, car dealers talk to people. And they talk to people through mass communication, through TV, press, outdoor. I say in the past, unfortunately in Lebanon, we still do this every day. It's a one-way conversation, one-way dialogue. Now, you can do it well, and you can do it very successfully. And you know, we've had some very successful examples, even recently. And what I chose to show you to make the point is our company was commissioned to do the Yellow Pages campaign 20 years ago, and I'm going to show you the campaign 20 years later. and you see literally what has really changed and how things are different today. So to make that point more obvious, I want to share with you a film BBDO did in London. Yellow Pages, you're all familiar with the Yellow Pages, was known, used to sit in the drawer and only come out when there's a water leakage at home or a problem at home. So it was known for the bad things. And they wanted to increase the usage of the Yellow Pages, you know, connecting it to the good things also in life. So they did this very sweet film.
I don't suppose you have a copy of Fly Fishing by J.R. Hartley. It is rather old.
I'm sorry.
It's by J.R. Hartley.
No luck, Dad. Never mind. There's still a few more to try.
Good old Yellow Pages. We don't just help with the nasty things in life, like a blocked brain. We're there for the nice things, too.
You do? Oh, that's wonderful. Can you keep it for me? My name, oh yes, it's J.R. Hartley.
Very sweet, very touchy, but things have really changed. Today, and in the last 10 to 15 years, we started seeing a two-way dialogue. We started seeing brands talking to people and brands listening to people. It's good. It's a major step in the right direction. At least we have a dialogue. But the problem with this dialogue, it's only two ways. And it's true that brands hurt people, and they hurt them through the emergence of companies like Proximity, CRM specialists, through call centers, and I'm sure a lot of the banks here, you have call centers and people can talk to you and tell you what they feel about your products, through response marketing, direct marketing, loyalty programs. All this is good, but this is still yesterday. This is still has not been impacted by what has really changed. What has really changed today, and this is really where the change is, what has really changed is the fact that people talk to us, we talk to them, but more importantly, they talk to each other about us. And the fact that they talk to each other changes the whole ballgame. Today, we no longer decide what we stand for. They decide what we stand for. They recommend to each other. They complain to each other. And this new dimension has been allowed and accelerated and amplified by technology. The change is not the technology, the change is this. We have always agreed, and everybody agrees, that word of mouth is by far the strongest medium of all. Today, think of word of mouth on steroids. It's just the amplification effect is actually tremendous. Now, 20 years later, BBDO, same agency, Yellow Pages, same client, understood this transformation. And even though here the assignment was a bit different, Yellow Pages is given for free, as you all know. It makes its living on advertising. So it's got to convince advertisers, business to business, that if you advertise in the Yellow Pages, you can still be effective and you would get customers. So they took it to an extreme. The agency, we went to the client, we said, let's not take somebody famous. Let's not take somebody who already has business and it's difficult for him to measure the additional business. Let's create a new place and let's hide it. Let's create a pizza place and call it the hidden pizza place and put it in the middle of nowhere, only advertise it in the Yellow Pages and take a big risk, see if it's successful, and if it is successful, we will have proven our point. But this is only possible because of people wanting to share, people, if they like something, they talk about it, and now they have the means to talk about it.
With over $1 billion in revenue at risk and businesses having more ways to advertise than ever before, Yellow Pages needed to convince small businesses that they're still a place to advertise. So we made Yellow Pages put it all on the line and actually open their own small business, only revealing the contact details in the Yellow Pages. It was hidden down an alleyway, through a roller door, down an elevator, and in the basement. It was called the Hidden Pizza Restaurant. People were then challenged to find it, and if they did, Yellow Pages had the proof it needed for a new campaign. If they didn't, we could be proving our advertisers' worst fears.
Feeling pretty nervous. We've put a lot of time in setting this place up. It's been about 3 months, but the thing is it's hidden in a basement.
To give people a reason to look for the place, a free pizza was given to anyone that found it. The only clue given was, look it up the way you would any other business.
I thought it was hidden. I thought this place was hidden. How the hell did they find it?
We found it on the Yellow Pages website.
Yellow Pages.
Yellow Pages.
Yellow Pages.
Yellow Pages.
Yellow Pages. Yeah, it was Yellow Pages.
I heard it from him. I heard it from him.
Yeah. Yellow Pages. My ex-husband told me about it.
I need you to take it easy on this salami. All right, we're running out. Well, come on, let's get going. I need more ham and I need more sauce. Less spinach, Frank.
From a challenge and a simple ad in the Yellow Pages, thankfully, thousands found the hidden business.
They line up for a pizza and busted my balls.
And after the restaurant closed, the results were released nationally to our customers, the Yellow Pages advertisers. The message?
In just 2 weeks, 6,079 calls came through the Yellow Pages search network. Get your ad in and be found.
Across the country, businesses were directed to hiddenpizza.com.au, where they could watch hidden camera footage of customers streaming into the restaurant, testimonials, and a case study of the entire project, all reinforcing the effectiveness of advertising in the Yellow Pages.
If I never see a pizza again, I'll be a happy man.
Needless to tell you that won awards everywhere, and most of the work I'm showing you, but that's not the point of today. We're not here to sell ourselves. So really, the real implications, if we've gone from this to this to this, and sadly enough, a lot of companies and brands in Lebanon are still stuck here. Some have started to do a bit of that, and very few have gone this way. And the opportunities there are tremendous. Let me give you an example. We were talking about the power of the voice, the power that you had. A few years back, had I given a lousy presentation, which this could end up being a lousy presentation, you would have told your friends, and maybe a few hundred people would have known about it, and I'd be okay. If I mess up today, you guys are tweeting about it. My career is gone within minutes. So this is the threat our brands live. This is the kind of ecosystem that we have to keep in mind as we talk and move forward. So the number one implication, what does this all mean? What are the implications? Let me share with you the 3 biggest implications and how brands and the way they are marketed should evolve. Before we decided what our brand stood for, today the consumer decide what our brand is. You can tell him whatever you want to tell him. He will make and draw his own conclusions. And guess what? Not only he will make his conclusions, he won't keep them to himself. He will share them. He will share them with people and friends. And guess what? His opinion counts more to his friends than our opinion because they trust him more. People trust friends more than they trust brands. People trust friends more than they trust advertising. This is why companies like Amazon, they show you, they say, people who bought this also bought that. This is why TripAdvisor is so successful, because you have people who have experienced these restaurants, these airlines, and these hotels talking about it, recommending it, or bashing it. This is why you now have the likes on Facebook. And this is why you will see Facebook marketing this for advertising more and more. So, like I said, one thing you have to keep in mind is we are less trusted than their friends. Word of mouth is on steroids, and this is something we have to keep in mind moving forward. The second implication, because it's like this, because we're looked at, because we're discussed, because we're debated, for us not to be ignored, we have to stand for something. And this is really the paradigm shift that your companies have to do. You have to search for a purpose and a meaning. You can no longer just be a product. You have to have a raison d'être. You have to have values. You have to communicate these values. You have to make sure that these values are relevant to people. They impact their lives, the way they feel and act. They make their lives better, and this is absolutely crucial. And for that, to sum it up, before we used to focus on what? The features, the benefits, the detail, what a product actually did for me. You know, what it did, it made my teeth whiter. It gave me less dandruff. Okay, the what. Then we started focusing on, because you started seeing parity. All products, all banks, I mean, there's many banks here today. All of your products are about the same. There's nothing that sets them apart. They're regulated by the central bank. You know, not even the interest rates are different. So you strive to find an advantage or a point of difference or a core competence, but even that is not enough. Today, because of this loud voice, what matters the most is the why. The why you're doing what you're doing. What is it that you stand for? What is your purpose as a company? What is your inspiration? What is your belief as an institution? And if we look at companies who have done that, this is why brands like Apple are so successful and have reached the highest value, because they have clearly defined what they stand for. Year after year, Steve Jobs, in everything he said or he did, he made it clear, absolutely clear, that they were there challenging the status quo. And believe it, people who are creative, people who want to stand out, people who agree with this, not just bought the Apple products, but became advocates of these products, became believer in these products. They wait for them. You know, they wait for the next product to come on. That's why the first day it comes out, it's sold out. And this is very powerful. Another example there is from Starbucks, where their CEO states that they're not about filling bellies, they're about filling souls. And they substantiate that, because you can't just say things and do nothing about it. They substantiate that by doing the giant acts of we. One of their giant acts of we is when on election day they said, please go vote, regardless who you vote for. We don't care who you vote for, but you have to vote. And if you come with your ballot in hand, we'll give you a free coffee. And that was millions of dollars of investment from them. But they stood up for what they stand for. And again, do not mix this with CSR. This is main communication, mainstream communication. It's not like I go doing what I do and then I go plant some trees. It's not enough. It's what you as a company believe in and stand for. Now, the third implication is, because of all this, in a world where there's a lot of data, where we come and we're so proud about how many clicks and how many views and the fact that we can measure it and the fact that we can monitor it, we sometimes get so hung up on the numbers that we lose the fewer meaningful connections, the few meaningful engagements that we have with consumers. You can be top of mind, but it's more important to be top of heart. You can be known by millions, but it's better to be loved by thousands, because these thousands will eventually bring you millions. So, yes, we can look at page views, click-through rates, electronic fund transfer at point of sale, social media monitoring, tweets, and I encourage you to do the social media monitoring, because you hear what brands are talking about. number of tweets, Google tracking, Nielsen, but that is not really that important, because what really is important is the human aspect in it all. Sir John Banham has articulated it very nicely when he said, we are in danger of attaching the greatest importance to the things we can measure most easily, and thus assuring that we are precisely wrong rather than being roughly right. I encourage you to be roughly right and to take certain risks, because there's great things that could happen there. Of course, we want accountability and effectiveness, because the two together can take you really, really far. So, and do that, you have the magical ability to engage the attention of the audience while you give them something or an experience that changes the way they feel, think, or act. People, when they like things or when they recommend you to friends, it's not because they like you. Keep remembering this. When they like you and tell their friends that they like you, it's not because they like you. It's because they like their friends. And because they like their friends, they want to share something that helps their friends enhance their lives. So it's not about you, it's about their friends. And again, to sum it up, in the past, the communication we were talking about, we used to take like a bowling ball, big campaign, a lot of GRPs, throw it, and hope we reach as many target as possible. Okay? It worked. Today, the opportunity is much greater. It's more like a pinball machine. You throw the ball, and a lot of things happening, and goes from one place to another, and amplifications, and your objective with creativity is to make sure that that ball stays up there, that you get as many free balls, as many extra plays as possible. And this is when you get this amplification. We did a film, our agency in China, BBDO China, did a film to promote the Chinese New Year. We came to the client, we said, look, there's an insight, less and less people are spending New Year's with their family. And it's sad, but it's a big country, the young people are doing their own thing. So why don't we do this film about that? And we brought in a famous actor, we've done a film, we just posted it on the internet. No campaign, nothing, a lovely story. It had all the PepsiCo products in it, but in a very subtle, branded content way. I know when you talk China, you don't say here in Lebanon, we say we had 5,000 views. In China, you talk 1 million, 2 million views. We had 700 million views. That's an all-time record with $0 spent in media. So if it's meaningful, people will share it and people will like it. To close, they say the proof is in the pudding. I'm going to show you a couple of examples, all from BBDO and one from BBDO in Lebanon in specific, so closer to home. I could have shown you work just from the region, but I wanted to show you work that you probably have not seen. This is why I chose work from around the world. But there is a case that is from Lebanon. So today, if you get all the things right, if you do something that's meaningful to people, people will pick it up. The media will pick it up. They will share it. It becomes a movement. And we have done this for Gillette in India, and it created a real mass movement. And as a result of that, Procter & Gamble, which is one of the most prestigious advertisers in the world, is now asking his agencies to create movements for them after this campaign. We wanted to get Indian men to shave. The brief was from the client, we will reduce the price of the razor. We said, it's not enough. You reduce the price of the razor, and we encourage Indian men to shave. So we created a movement called Walls, Women Against Lazy Stubble. Men thought that women liked.
Women Power has come together to start a lobby group called Walls, also known as the Women Against Lazy Stubble. Now, this organization aims at unifying women of the country against men who refuse to shave off their stubble. Walls is launched. Heavy traffic on the website shaveindia.com.
It all started with women joining hands, forming the group Women Against Lazy Stubble. That's
request all men to shave, and I've tried to make him shave.
Guys, please go and shave. The shabby look will go away.
Women Against Lazy Stubble.
And won't just take the lazy stubble.
Lazy stubble.
Stubble at the moment. Oops.
Women joined Walls in large numbers.
Became a national debate. The whole country was discussing it. And then Gillette steps in and announces the drop of
now at a
the
surprisingly
price.
affordable price, 125 rupees. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Biggest shaving event in human history.
शेवतान अभी शुरू होने वाले 2000 आदमी अपनी दाढ़ी गंवाने वाले हैं.
देखा खेल चल चल सड़कों पे होगी ठन ठन.
Guinness Book of Records. I mean, the results were astounding from. Sorry.
The absence and inefficiency of governmental accountability and the lack of civic education have somehow become a trademark in Lebanon, leading to a remarkable lack of respect to rules and regulations. So how do you fight the lack of discipline, the extensive chaos, the rooted corruption? How do you raise awareness and instigate social change? You enable 4 million Lebanese citizens to become policemen, each using their personal radar, the mobile phone, to efficiently expose the uncivilized traffic conducts through a public platform, empowering the Lebanese to react and provoke change. How do you make this really happen? You bring on board the leading TV station in Lebanon, LBCI, a credible ally and a public opinion leader to endorse the CSR cause.
حملة شايف حالك هي تعبير من ال-LBC باسم شقفة كبيرة من المواطنين يلي عندهم هالمشكلة وما حدا منهم عم بيجرب يلاقي حل لأنه كل واحد بكبها على التاني.
Moreover, the Minister of Interior at the time, His Excellency Mr. Ziad Baroud, had endorsed the soon-to-be public cause. Hence, شايف حالك.
شايف حالك يعني فخور بحالك وانت ما لازم تكون فخور بحالك وبتكون كمان تعني شايف حالك انه هل ترى ما انت عليه.
4 humorous TV commercials were created, highlighting the problem in a sarcastic manner.
بعدين السواقة فن. ما أنا ماني مسوقت سيجرتان ما سيجرت. أنا خيي ما بعطي إشارات. أنا بمد إيدي. إذا لقيت راكب على الشمال وأنا على اليمين بشك السيارة شك على اليمين.
They triggered the interaction through a wall of shame on Facebook and the website. The online community took hold of Facebook and Twitter in order to track, capture and report citizens who pride themselves on disrespecting the rules and regulations. They are constantly sharing photographs, videos and debating several issues, always generating more interaction. The most popular talk shows gave a considerable boost to the campaign. The shake-up became a movement.
It was integrated in different formats. It was integrated in the news, بسمة وطن, أحلى جلسة وكلام الناس, more or less launched with the campaign, explaining what it was and kind of defining its objective.
The campaign arose buzz in all media circles, as it started off with 4 TV commercials and ended up with a holistic dimension, gaining enormous popularity among bloggers. The TVC gathered more than 18,000 channel views, as well as an ever-growing number of comments and likes. More than 30,000 active Facebook users endorsed the cause through their daily posts, with more than 24,000 likes, more than 1,500 wall posts or comments per week, as well as more than 5,000 visits per week. Also, foreign impact was revealed through positive feedback from Lebanese expatriates in various countries and ended up with a holistic dimension. Most importantly, the new Minister of Interior, His Excellency Marwan Sharbel, declared 2 new laws announced publicly on the news. A clear proof that the campaign started generating change. And that was just the beginning.
I don't know if you've seen recently because we continue with the discrimination and religion. This is where a brand like LBC starts standing for something. And this is, if we've seen before, it's not about selling razors, it's about changing the way people felt. Men thought that women liked them with lazy stubble. So Gillette kind of created the movement and proved to men that actually women did not like that. Couple more quick examples and I'm done. The next example is an interesting one. It's, if I'm not mistaken, you know, here you have a feeling, I don't know if it's the case in Lebanon, but in Australia, they felt that the 5 big banks agreed on everything, and they kind of aligned on everything, and they kind of had the same rates, and they were helping each other, but not helping the people. So our client with us decided to say that he does not longer belong to these 5 banks. He wanted to break up, you know. So he announced, and it all started on a Twitter feed, that he is breaking up with the next 5 banks. And it was done in a very creative and fun manner. Changing people's perception. They believe that the 4 big banks are in bed together to crush competition. So our idea, embrace this perception of being together.
This all actually started on Friday with what looked like an accidental tweet from a NAB employee. It read, "So stressed out, have to make a tough decision, and I know I'll probably hurt someone's feeling."
Well, no one likes to receive a Dear John letter announcing a breakup, especially when it's published in the papers for the world to see.
60 films on YouTube of people breaking up.
Nowhere was safe from the blitz by the newly single NAB.
You're dumb.
NAB's launching a full-scale attack on its competitors.
There was even a piano man singing broken love songs outside the ANZ headquarters.
The sky, the street and the net were all bombarded with messages of breakups.
This is the biggest thing we've seen in banking for a long, long time. Yours sincerely, NAB.
And the last example, I think, would be very relevant to the bankers in this room. We do a lot of campaign encouraging people to spend. You know, the more you spend, the more miles you get. The more you spend, the more gifts you get. The more you spend, the more chances you win a trip to go watch the football. So one of the banks felt that they wanted to do the opposite of that, and they felt that the people would be a lot more receptive. So this is what we have done for our New Zealand bank, and it's the last case I'm sharing with you. Oh, sorry. Wrong.
This
Lebanese
is the
spend too
amount
much
of
as
money
well.
that we waste on impulse purchases every single day. We are shockers when it comes to saving. We are number 23 out of 29 countries in the OECD.
The working group says we all need to save more.
We need to step back from the edge.
Marketing has done a very, very good job of creating opportunities for impulse buying. We've never created the opportunity for impulse saving.
It's an iPhone application that allows you to save. With one press of a button, you can save a predetermined amount from a transaction account straight through to your savings account.
Some innovative advertising, something that Westpac are doing.
Yeah, this was really, really cool because it's not an ad. And I think the future of ad agencies lies not in just, making ads and putting them on the TV or whatever, but in coming up with innovative business ideas for their clients.
Simply genius, the guys at Westpac. I think this app was designed just for me.
Very simple idea. It communicated clearly what the bank stood for. Communicated that the fact that they're not here to take people's money, but to help them better plan their future. The last image I'll leave you with, if there's one drop-dead frame that I'd like you to remember from this presentation, is keep in mind that the conversation now is multi-dimensional, multi-channel. It's what they say about us. It's the way they position us that matters the most. Thank you very much. I don't believe we have time for questions, but we're done. Thank you.